Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're jumping right into a really fascinating explainer on a smart multi-sensor monitoring and alert system. Seriously, think of this like learning how to build a life-saving digital nervous system right from scratch. We're going to unpack a comprehensive blueprint for integrating a whole array of sensors, orchestrating real-time data, and building out these automated safety reflexes. And the coolest part? This setup can protect literally anything, from a single room all the way up to a massive industrial facility. Let's get into it.
But, before we geek out on the hardware, we really need to talk about the universal problem this system actually solves. And that's alert fatigue. Have you ever just stared at a dashboard with so many blinking numbers and scrolling charts that it all just kind of becomes background noise? We've all ignored a beeping machine at some point, right? But here's the catch. When modern systems dump huge amounts of telemetry onto a single screen, critical emergencies like a sudden temperature spike or a gas leak can easily get completely missed in that massive flood of everyday data. So, enter our hero for this explainer, an elegant, highly modular Arduino-powered hardware hub. This central unit hits the data overload problem right on the head by acting as a seriously smart processing brain. It doesn't just passively collect data from the physical world, instead it actively filters it, evaluates it, and physically reacts to it in real time. It's a total game changer.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The alert fatigue problem. 2. Architecture of the system. 3. The 7 digital senses. 4. The dual LCD innovation. 5. The 5-step logic loop. And finally, 6. Testing the safety limits.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the alert fatigue problem and missing vital warnings.
Automated monitoring is absolutely crucial in today's world, but the stakes, they're incredibly high. If a system fails to effectively separate routine background noise from an active, life-threatening emergency, the consequences can be disastrous. And the sheer scale of this application is pretty mind-blowing. In a smart home environment, we rely on these automated systems to track things like temperature spikes, home gas leaks, or unexpected motion. But then, you take that exact same foundational technology and scale it way up for industrial safety, detecting toxic hazards, mechanical orientation faults, and ultimately keeping factory workers safe.
And that versatility extends pretty much everywhere, whether you're deploying sensors out in a field to track soil moisture for precision agriculture and automated irrigation, or you're managing a massive logistics warehouse to make sure temperature-sensitive goods are stored safely. The fundamental challenge of managing and prioritizing that data remains exactly the same.
Moving right along to Section 2, architecture of the system and the central processing.
So, how do we actually build something capable of handling all these wildly different environments? Well, at the heart of it all is an Arduino Uno, running on an ATmega 328P microcontroller. Just think of this as the brain of the whole operation. It takes on the heavy lifting of running highly parallel boundary checks across 7 distinct sensor inputs. And based on those rapid-fire calculations, it simultaneously drives 6 dedicated output mechanisms, which can be anything from buzzing alarms to visual displays.
Next up, Section 3, the 7 digital senses and environmental awareness. Much like how our biological nervous system gives us awareness of our surroundings, this inputs layer gives the machine comprehensive environmental awareness. The Arduino is constantly reading incoming signals across 7 independent physical properties. It uses a TMP36 for local thermal trends, probes for soil moisture, and an MQ2 module for tracking airborne contaminants or combustible gases. Oh, and it also utilizes a light-dependent resistor to track shifting daylight, plus a tilt sensor to detect structural shifts or equipment tip-overs. It's basically got a 6th sense. Well, 7, actually.
To really zoom in on the system's spatial awareness, let's look at the PIR sensor. PIR stands for passive infrared. Now, it doesn't actually emit anything. Instead, it detects changes in infrared radiation. So if a warm body walks across its field of view, boom, it causes a voltage spike. This instantly logs human presence or trips automated security lines if there's an unauthorized entry.
Another brilliant spatial sense is the HCSR04 ultrasonic distance sensor. This little guy operates on a highly precise 4-stage workflow. First, the sensor emits a 40 kilohertz acoustic pulse out into the world. Then it just waits for the echo to bounce off an obstacle and return. By measuring that round-trip time and dividing it by the speed of sound, the system calculates exact distances in centimeters. It's literally the perfect way to prevent robotic equipment collisions. All right. Let's look at Section 4, the dual LCD innovation and solving info overload. Okay, so we've got all this fantastic sensory data pouring in, right? But how do we display it without causing that awful alert fatigue we talked about earlier? The answer here is a remarkably clever dual LCD architecture that completely cures information overload. It does this by clearly separating the data across two distinct screens. LCD1 acts as your continuous live dashboard. It just constantly scrolls through the real-time telemetry: temperature, moisture, light levels, distance, all of it. LCD2, on the other hand, is the critical alert matrix. This is strictly an emergency interrupt display. When everything's running fine, it just calmly reads system normal.
The physical separation between these two displays is absolutely what makes this so effective. The split second a sensor violates a safe boundary, that second screen drops its normal status and begins rotating exclusively through active alerts. This guarantees, and this is absolutely crucial, that a critical warning like high temperature or gas alert is never lost in a sea of normal, rapidly changing background numbers.
Moving on to Section 5, the 5-step logic loop and embedded firmware.
To understand exactly how the system decides what goes onto that emergency screen, we need to peek under the hood. The program runs a deterministic, non-blocking control loop in mere milliseconds. First, it reads all 7 sensors. Second, it processes that raw electrical data into standard units, like Celsius or centimeters. Third, it compares those measurements against preset safe minimums and maximums. Fourth, if a threshold is breached, it immediately generates an alert flag. And finally, step 5, it activates the physical outputs. Now, the crucial takeaway here is how this continuous, sequential cycle acts just like an automated biological reflex. It loops endlessly. If the processing step determines, say, that gas levels are too high, the activation step will instantly spin up a DC exhaust fan and sound a high-frequency acoustic buzzer. It doesn't sit around waiting for human intervention, it just reacts. Finally, we arrive at Section 6, testing the safety limits and validating the prototype.
You know, any monitoring system is really only as good as its reliability during an actual emergency. That's exactly why validating the prototype against a strict quality assurance test matrix is so essential. Take the hazardous gas leak scenario, for example. The stimulus involves exposing the Q2 sensor directly to smoke or butane gas. The expected outcome, which, by the way, the system consistently achieves, is that the audible buzzer immediately sounds, the visual LED array turns red, and the secondary LCD flashes a high-priority text warning. And the same rigorous validation applies to agricultural drought scenarios, spatial barrier breaches, and thermal overloads. It really covers all the bases.
But what makes this project so incredibly compelling is its future scope. Because this Arduino Foundation is so accessible and highly modular, it doesn't have to stay confined to just a single room. By simply integrating an ESP32 or a Wi-Fi gateway, this exact same architecture can scale way up. We're talking about streaming all this localized sensor data straight to centralized cloud dashboards, essentially acting as the fundamental building blocks for vast, interconnected smart cities. Which leaves us with a truly exciting question to ponder. If a single microcontroller running a local logic loop can effectively safeguard a warehouse or an agricultural facility today, what happens tomorrow when we apply predictive machine learning models to these massive, citywide historical logs? We are looking at a future where we don't just react to emergencies, but we actually predict equipment failures and environmental hazards before they ever even happen. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I hope it sparks some really great ideas for you.